items such as that. Yeah, exactly. But he still offers you, until the opponent team has BKBs, a lot of burst. It's a fairly squishy hero, but I think it fits the overall composition, or especially how participates in the team, a lot. Just because he usually goes for that drums / Aquila build, where he's fairly tanky in the early stages of the game, but he can also participate in it. He's one of those carries in comparison that searches kills. He does not just sit on the lane and farm, but he looks actively to find kills and help out his teammates to like open up the map and extend that lead that you get.
Yeah, Hao has sort of always been in the shadow of Burning, but they do have a lot of similar traits. You know, they're very active. They don't sit back completely and farm like, let's say, Silo. You know, he's very farm heavy. He likes to get early big items up on him. He can go looking for kills, but Hao is so active. He's such an aggressive player. I still remember when they were looking for a replacement from Black, and the comment that was made was, we're looking for an aggressive Chinese carry, and you're sort of sitting there thinking, well, the one option is Hao, and he did end up joining VG. He's done very well so far. Luna going to be his hero. The Tidehunter banned out by VG, while the final ban for Burden here, it looks like Vici Gaming are looking for an Ice hero, but they take out the Enigma. So 5v5, you mentioned, 2 or 3 times here, the way this draft has progressed. Enigma would offer you so much there, just sucking everyone in. And what does Burden have to cancel it out? Cast? Fire Blast? There's nothing really to try and stop that black hole from actually channeling.
I mean, the one thing when you play against an Enigma, or if you're afraid of Enigma draft, right, is you need to have BKB disable. BKB disable, as soon as Enigma gets a BKB and you don't have BKB disable, usually results into you losing the 5-on-5. Just because you have no way of stopping a black hole, and if your carry ends up in that black hole, which is quite easy to execute, you can always get a black hole off on one target. It's going to be very hard to deal with that lineup where Enigma's in it. I think it's a good ban out. I think also Vici ran it semi-recently on Ice. I think Ice played an Enigma offlane, if I'm correct on that. Not entirely sure, could be wrong, but obviously it could be also position 4/5 hero, you know, or Fenrir or FY. I'm not entirely sure who plays it off those two, but it's a very possible position that it would be one of those playing it instead. And they choose to last pick a Beastmaster here. A fairly strong offlaner, I think, especially the only counter to me that comes with Beastmaster, I think, is the Night Stalker. I'm not entirely I don't know if Burden United can pick that Night Stalker in this draft anymore, but if I see Beastmaster and it's picked early on, my first words to my drafter would be, I think Night Stalker is really good here. Just because Night Stalker negates the entire purpose of a Beastmaster, which is the huge amount of vision that Beastmaster offers you.
Yeah, get the Hawk out, get that vision, and then allow for the initiation from the rest of your heroes. Long range Earthshaker Fisher, but they actually go with the Axe. So Soxia, off lane Axe, Sing Sing on the mid Viper. And they're going to go pretty stock standard here. They probably won't go aggressive trial, and it's just going to be keep Necroman farming, Sing Sing self-sufficient towards middle lane.
I was gonna say the opposite. Just because you have an Axe pickup, and you know Ice is going to be on the Beastmaster, on the off lane. Axe against any melees wins the matchup. And you want to keep Hao low on farm, so it looks to me that they're going to contest with the Witch Doctor, Ogre Magi, as well as the Gyrocopter. All 3 heroes in a contesting tri lane are going to be very strong. The one counter aspect is going to be the Shaker.
Yeah.
If he fishes correct, or if he gets a great angle on the Fisher, it can be that you block off one hero while 2 heroes are behind the Fisher, so you can individually kill that hero on the other side stock. But it would be a misplay by Burden United if that happens. To me right now, it looks like a contesting tri lane, and I can see Vici trying to dodge that in start, trying to put maybe Luna in a dual lane scenario on the off lane to keep it open in terms of how they will lane.
Oh man, Come With Me and Necroman both starting with boots, so it looks like you're right. And actually thinking about it, Lion in a safe lane, dual lane or tri lane, whichever way they run it, he's an aggressive support. He doesn't offer you any real defensive capabilities outside of a multi-person Earth Spike, and yeah, VG, they're going to look to dodge. Hao is heading down to bot with the 2 supports running up. FY on this Earthshaker, the golden gravel on his ES. Ice, Beastmaster, where is...
I love to see what Vici is doing here, because they're completely negating that tri-lane top. Queen of Pain being the best hero to deal with that aggressive tri-lane, because he can just sit there and soak experience. They have no chance of killing the hero, unless it would be perfectly channeled stunned. But even then, I think Queen of Pain would still survive. No matter what, he's going to be safe. And he will not get, if he doesn't get caught in a situation where his blink is on cooldown, right? So what Vici is doing here is they sent the Beastmaster middle. Beastmaster middle is going to be in a matchup against a Viper. Most likely. Yeah, Sing Sing is going to be Viper middle, and Beastmaster can just axe and get a few creeps here and there. He's going to farm fairly slow. It's not going to be as great. Obviously, Viper is supposed to win that matchup, but he's going to soak experience. So what Vici does here and how they set up the lanes is not going to be expected by Burning United whatsoever. And I think it's the right choice what they're doing here.
Now, with Ice in the middle lane, do you want to be using your board to try and get those few last hits, use your hero? Because I'm wondering about the Dire Jungle right now, about the Ancients. With VG so far, they're going to have these 3 heroes at bot, or 2 so far. Is the Earthshaker going to move down there? Is he going to be full-on defensive and roaming around, trying to stack, trying to keep these lanes going? Or is it going to be down to Ice to soak experience, like you said, control runes, and then also keep the jungle flowing?
To me, like, if I see these lanes, and I feel like Burning United should expect at least sort of a like lane change, right? And right now, the lanes, how they start benefit Vici Gaming a lot. Sure, they have a mid lane that's not going to be that great for you, but you know, a Beastmaster can always sit middle and get experience. It's not a big deal. But bottom lane, if for example you had a Witch Doctor sitting bottom with the axe, this dual lane would do completely fine against a Luna plus Lion. And now bottom lane, we might actually see an engagement onto the axe here.
They're getting ready. Come with me, what's up at top, but no, we're going to start off with the Fisher from Earthshaker. Soshka now stunned up, locked down. How does not have a Lucent Beam, so there's no further nuke damage, but the body block from FY is perfect, keeping them in the trees, and first blood, it goes the way of FY. Down on the spot lane, VG, good start, not as great as game number 1, but still, getting first blood on Soshka.
And this seems to me just like a miscommunication from the top lane. To me, if you see a Queen of Pain top, you see 2 supports that are missing. You already see a line onto the bot lane, top lane.
Ooh, Cask, not going to finish him off. Super, staying alive with the tango regeneration.
And that's what I was trying to mention earlier. If he has to blink up, he's not going to die to this combination. There is pretty much no chance of getting a kill. But going back to my point earlier is that when you see no supports and you already have 2, you know, like you have a dual lane that pushes you, then you should watch out as next on the bottom lane, as well as you should have supports calling for you that supports are missing, and you have to stay further back. Think about it, if Burning United would have started with a dual lane bottom, exactly what they're doing right now. This is the 2 heroes that should have been bottom from the very start, and then they can adjust if it's a tri-lane top. The support rotating from bottom to top, no problem. You will make sure that Axe will have an advantage in the lane. But it did not work this way because they just started with a tri-lane top and did not have that support that could help the Axe on the on the bottom lane. And this results into a disadvantage just from the very start.
Well, so far last hit wise, Ice is actually 8 for 0. So not only getting experience, but a few last hits in here with a double bore. Sing Sing, sure, 9 and 4, getting a little bit ahead, but oh boy, where did that happen? How looking now to turn back around onto Soshka. He's got Lucent Beam level 1 and will throw it out, but Fenrir a little bit too far away to get the Earth Spike. They're still chasing, they're still trying to get in here, but Cass will turn things around. Paris doesn't want to get in with a call, and that'll just be a straight turnaround as How and Fenrir back up to the creep wave. Yes. Although, Come With Me is actually coming in. Fire Blast onto How, the stun. Just keep him in, but that's a good 2-man Earth Spike from the line, keeping them out. FY not throwing out the Fisher just yet, so Dire Courier was that, just died with Bottle and Boots over towards the middle lane.
That will hurt the Beastmaster quite some, because I believe it was the bottle on top of that, right? Yeah, so he has to sit further back, but the good part is at this point he's still at max HP, so forcing a Beastmaster out of experience with a Viper that has no nuke whatsoever, no stun or initiation to stop him from soaking that experience is going to be very hard. It of course hurts him in terms of gold. Like he's not going to get any last hits anymore because he is on no mana whatsoever. He can't use his wild axes, but he will still soak experience. He's going to get that level 6. Once he hits 6, he's going to set up for kills.
And then how's his rune control going to be? Does he just ignore runes now? He doesn't have a bottle?
I mean, he still has a bit of mana, right, to use his boar. So he can always scout one side with a boar. He can send the boar towards a rune, which he just found the boar, but he's still keeping in the mid lane to use it as a farming tool.
Well, they spot Come With Me on his way with that observer board down at bot. So ISO's behind his tower, going to play a little defensively. They know it was a bounty rune, not a haste or an invis or anything like that. So Ogre does go in with a little fire blast and actually kills off the board. Nice little boost of gold for him. Sing Sing though freely farming here, as well as Necroman up at top. 19 for 2 compared to the 10 and 3 for Super on this quap, who You know, even though the two supports aren't here, Gyrocopter, once he's got the level advantage, 5/4, he's got the flat cannon rocket barrage, so Queen of Pain can't really go in with a Shadow Strike too often, because she's going to get nuked down like this. She tries to go into the creep wave, takes 2 flak hits, and has to back up again.
And Come With Me is sitting up very sneakily behind the tower. If he gets another rocket onto the towers, it could result into a potential kill.
Kill Minox down a bot lane, but that was 3 against 0. Where's Paris? Toshka in the jungle, stacking away for himself, trying to get a little bit closer to those Tranquils and Blink Dagger.
So originally what they were trying to do is just, you know, keep the Luna down. That was the original plan. You have that aggressive tri lane to keep a Luna down, but it now tears off to where they don't even go onto the Luna lane whatsoever with anyone. And I think the right move at this point would be, you have a Queen of Pain top, just let a support stay there and move bottom with a Gyrocopter. I think a Queen of Pain taking experience is fine if the Luna is kept on a very low gold pace, right? I think Gyrocopter, he has the almost level 6 now. He could set up for kills. And I feel like you can't go too static. What Vici Gaming does very well is use their ultimates, use their spells. They always set up to stop the enemy from getting any kind of experience or gold without being punished.
Look at how defensive Burden are being though. 4 heroes towards this middle jungle area as Fenrir launches out the Earth Spike, but he's stunned up twice here. As Come With Me, Minox looking for the slow from Sing Sing. They'll get it, and Viper will find the Lion who was sitting in the enemy jungle.
But in the meantime, you have a Luna free farming bottom. Like he's like unpressured whatsoever. You have a top lane Gyrocopter who's going back towards the top lane. I feel like it's very dangerous for him because any movement now, given that line is back up, as you can see, Necroman is just blocking the wave, trying to not go too far into the lane, because any setup with the line can kill him.
I'm just looking at the Radiant Vision now. They've given quite a bit towards this middle lane, knowing that Ice is level 6, so the roar onto Viper, the follow through from...
And you can see the TP coming up on the top lane right now. He will set up for the kill. He's going to try to pressure out the Quap, but Queen of Pain has the Sonic Wave, and he's bottling up right now. He has to watch out. If he gets hacked at this point, he's going to die. And Necroman wisely chooses to go back because he realizes Lion is not showing up on the map. He has to go back.
They've got a Hawk scouting him out, so they know Necroman's hiding in these trees. Vision-wise, though, the Observer mid does fade out, and Ice with the roar. They turn back with the Bub Strike onto Howl. Sing Sing still going to go down to one more right click, but maybe they can get the trade here. The damage over time, Howl will fall. One more bash to the back. And Come With Me finds the trade-off as Necroman has made his way down from the top lane. The call down. A nice 2 for 1 here. It's 2 cores for the 1 Viper. Burden evening up the kill score. 7 minutes in, 3-3. And How making his move towards middle lane to get a kill on the Viper. Do you think that was worth it?
I wanted to say it was worth it to begin with, that they got the kill onto the Viper. And I really enjoy watching Howl play just because how active he is on a carry role. He participates early on, all throughout the entire early stage, into the mid game, into the late game. Of course he has to farm up. He doesn't undervalue the farming aspect, right? But he's an active player on a carry role, and I think it's the right thing to do. Sure, he should not have died. That transition obviously in him, you know, like his farm potential stopped for a moment, but he uses, as you can see, he's level 6 now. He will use his ultimate. He's gonna aim towards getting to use his ultimate resulting into a kill, and we can see another kill set up there.
And there's the ulti, like you said. How going in on Sing Sing. He doesn't have mana just yet for another Lucent Beam. The right click's coming out. Won't finish off the Viper as 2 supports coming in. Minox can Come With Me. Look for the stun and find How. Start off with the cask and then the Fire Blast. Slow him down with the Ignite. He's pretty good there here though with the 3-stick charges. Not going to come off cooldown in time, and he does fall. Great Fisher from FY. It just wasn't quite enough. It was really close though.
Important kill there once again onto Howl. I'm actually wondering, he got his ulti off. It was a slight misplay because he still was level 6, so it resulted in him having a Lucent Beam level 3, right? Which ended up in him not getting that kill because the ultimate is based onto your Lucent Beam, and he was not level 7, so it was not enough damage. He thought he would have another beam. He miscalculated the mana, so he did not have that kill. Then when he wanted to turn back because he saw Viper was not backing off, it gave the supports the opening to get that stun off, resulting into Howl dying. It was a bit cocky by him going backwards because he should know Viper's not going to just turn on him knowing, you know, he has no HP. Viper would not do that unless knowing he has a backup. So a slight misplay there by Howl, but I believe Howl is just going to go backwards and aiming towards farming top lane.
The They're chasing him down. Will get the stun. Come with me. No big multicast on that Fire Blast just yet, but with Minot stunning him up, How can't TP. It's on cooldown. Fenrir should be able to get in here with the Earth Spike and save How for now. The stick charges up, but maybe the trade-off is the Lion's life. Has Come with me still chasing. Both of them very low on HP, but finally,
two heroes rotating towards top lane.
FY ready with the Earthshaker. Raw to start. Minot's caught. As FY and Champs Ultimate Fisher actually blocking Come with me as well. It's a great play by him. Lucent Beam slowing the retreat. Finger of Death from Fenrir will seal the deal. And a nice change up there as VG take the 2 supports. But again, then you look towards middle lane. Sing Sing is farming towards the mech, and it is a little bit slower than you'd expect, but still progressing quite nicely. Super might be the target down on his bottom lane. He's got Blink, so Necroman shouldn't be able to do too much here.
What looked like a great kill setup on the top lane with the 2 supports only onto How's Luna result into 2 death, and it's gonna hurt them quite some just because How did not have his ulti up. It resulted into kills. He had kill participation. He's transitioning into these early items such as Aquila drums, right? He had a rough time after dying twice now, but he's coming back fairly quickly just because, you know, having these 2 support kills, it means a lot at that point because he was about to die, then resulting in two kill assists, whereas it could have been a dead Luna, potentially a dead Luna, or even a Luna at 10% HP. But what is he going to do? Can he stay on the lane? No, he can't. He has to go back to base, and it's going to slow down his farm again.
I'm just looking at the item progressions from Come With Me. He has got so much on his support Ogre. He's currently sitting, what, 6th in terms of net worth? 2.7k? He's ahead of this Queen of Pain so far, with Earned Tranquils and a couple of Observe Awards. Not looking too shabby. How do you think he still goes into the BKB, or do you think early in the draft you said the Ring of Aquila drums, stat-heavy build, just tank yourself up and pad them out?
I think How's one of those players that really enjoys to get drums Aquila almost on any carry. Like, you see it on his Phantom Lancer over and over again. You see it on heroes such as Luna, just because they have early kill participation. I think it's a lot about that, on how he tends to use his hero. He has his ultimate up, so I would not be surprised that we see a movement towards top lane. And as you can see, we have 3 heroes smoking up behind the tower to set up kills / tower push.
Ice to start things off. Actually, Lucent Beam will find that. Minot's though roared up and taken down. Good Echo Slam from FY. Only on 1, but it's the one they need. Ogre again falls with his comrade. Whipped off the 2 supports dead. Is the farming now worth it though for their core heroes? Because they're losing tier 1. The pushing has begun as Ice has got his Necro 1. And they're just adding so much pressure onto these towers that Birdie United with pretty lackluster teamfight capabilities. Maybe now with Sochka's Blink Dagger, which is what I was looking for, they can start to defend their towers and look for a group up into fight. Or maybe they're looking for the mech. Oh, that's done as well. That's perfect timing for Burden. Mech, Viper, Blink, Axe. Time to group up and take these big fights, right?
It's very true. They need to make something out of these key items that they just picked up. They have to make a gang happen, and I believe they're gonna set up towards either push on bottom lane. Viper is moving towards bottom lane now, but at the same time you can see pressure already coming onto the tier 1 tower in middle lane. They know that no one is there, and as they saw with the middle lane ward, the Viper is moving towards bottom lane, that they want to push, then they have to go.
Well, let's start it off on How, but good Fisher not allowing the call to come out of Sochka. I don't know if that was intended, but How turns around now. With his Eclipse, damage output's pretty big, but not great enough as Sing Sing's mech keeps them all healthy, and they get the Culling Blade and back up. But like you said, Fenrir getting time to farm Blink, get experience on top lane, middle lane, super. Building into a Necro Book, it looks like, on this Queen of Pain, and tier 1 taking a little bit of damage while Burden are setting up again down at bottom. Paris jumps in, FY caught with a call down. That should be a pretty simple cleanup.
I think the problem here for Burden United, despite them getting kills, there's still 2 lanes that pretty much free farm. Fenrir is getting closer and closer to his Blink Dagger. He's gonna have that key item fairly soon. He's sitting at 1300 gold, so not too far away. And then on the mid lane you have a Queen of Pain that just pretty much is sitting there just free farming as well. There's little setup. There's an Ogre that has where you have the target stun onto Queen of Pain, but at the same time, if Axe is not there to follow up, he's not gonna die. It has to be the 2 heroes pretty much standing together. I think a Witch Doctor stun is not gonna result into a kill, so it's the only setup for you. An Axe, pretty much an Axe only, that can get you that kill onto a Queen of Pain.
They find Super here with a call after stun. They're dropping him low, not within the threshold, and Sochka misses out on the Culling Blade. Battle Hunger is not gonna be enough as he gets the fountain and heals up with the bottle just in time. Super makes his way out, with a beasting of health, while up at top we're looking at Necroman. The Gyro's caught, ice with a Necro level 2. And this is VG. Small margins, but it's the margins that matter.
You keep finding the picks on the side lanes, and while Burden United now pressures the mid lane to try and get another tower, which results into them they get that tower, but at the same time your side lane's pushing. Your side lane's reforming, and are they pressuring right now House Luna? No, they're not. And if you look at the net worth of the Beastmaster, who started in a matchup with his bottle being taken away from him for 3 minutes because the courier died.
Well, he gets his freaking revenge as he roars the courier and takes it out.
And at the same time now, looking at his gold, he almost has that Book 3 finish. And that's huge. Because it could potentially result into a Roshan fight or another tower fight slash smoke up with a tower fight or kill, resulting into either a Roche or another tower, right? And I think one thing we can look at is item progression here. Axe finished his blink, but he's very far away from any other item progression.
Well,
so
he had vitality booster on the courier.
Oh, that died.
Yeah.
I did not see that. All right. Other than that, then you look at Necroman, who was kind of unpressured. I felt he had a pretty good early laning stage. Of course he has a he's 0-2 in stats, but he had a good laning phase, right? He was in a one-on-one against the Queen of Pain, whereas he had an early support. He had 2 supports sitting right next to him, making sure that his early laning stage is going to be all right. He was not ganked until I think fairly far into the early into the early stage of the game. But right now he's sitting on an Ogre Club as well as Facewood as well as Ring of Aquila. So he's probably aiming towards getting that BKB done. So the hefty amount of magical damage that Vici Gaming has to offer, he can negate with that BKB. And I feel like right now it's good to sit back and try to finish the BKB on him, just because the amount of magic damage that Vici Gaming is gonna have in the mid game towards Burden United is immense.
Well, looks like they're doing what you were saying. Not going for the pick first, going straight into this Roche pit though, as How with his damage output should be pretty good here. Necro 3 boot. Well, I just want to, while Roche is going on, talk about the supports though. Over on the Dire, we're seeing FY getting within 900 gold of his Blink Dagger, not too far away. Fenrir has had his for a couple of minutes now. How are these supports progressing in comparison to the Radiant? We are actually going to start off, come with me, walking up the high ground. Not going to find the opening just yet, as FY is positioned perfectly up on top of this ramp. They're going to start things off with axes, the Lucent Beam, and now the Fisher onto 3. Fenrir, 3-man Spike, and Necroman drops so low that the Sonic Wave just finishes him off. Soshka can't blink onto anyone, and now he's stuck in the middle of 3 heroes. Sing Sing is the last man standing, and there's no room to breathe for Burden United right now as they walk towards the Roche pit, but VG were one step ahead.
And I was about to mention how poorly the fight actually is going to start for Vici Gaming, just because Book was used. They used the Book. Roshan was not that. They were trying to get the Roshan before the fight starts, which it eventually didn't work out for them. And then it was a Raw that was just used to stop the damage. But at the same time, they were not sitting together. They walked in one by one. It was a Viper as well as an Ogre just rushing onto Roshan instead of trying to, look for positioning, so they're not getting picked off. Those 2 ran in. Viper was, with a mech, has to be the center of attention, and has to be the center in these team fights. He has the mech to provide a 5-on-5 aspect for Burden United, but he was just running in and did not help at all, which resulted in Ogre dying before a mech could come out, which resulted into his entire team backing him up, being actually fairly far behind him, not doing anything. They just died to a Queen of Pain.
Well, they were all here. FY was ready and waiting up on this cliff, and he got the perfect fissure down into 3 of them. Well, like you said, the Ogre and the Viper sort of wandered their way forward. I was kind of expecting the Axe to go first, or, you send one hero in so you can get vision for the Axe to blink and call. But Sing Sing, walking in with the Ogre, getting caught out a little bit, and that gave so much to VG. You're looking at now Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker. You've got the Lion, who's not progressed too far in, but he's 3-1-7. Does that like half a 4-staff? No, that's an urn for Fenrir actually over in the courier. While How on this Luna, Aegis Immortal, 2,000 gold, farming the jungle like a boss right now. Queen of Pain, Necro 1, not too shabby, but it's not the farm progression you kind of expect from Super, but it wasn't the role that you usually see from him either. He was in that kind of throwaway role on the top lane, just do what you can, and he's done very well.
Yeah, he's progressing into another Necrobook, and I actually really like that item pickup on a Queen of Pain. I think it's one of, usually you will see a progression into an Orchid often, very often, but I feel like Book just offers you the HP pool that Queen of Pain needs, as well as another pushing tool, right? They're opting towards 5-on-5 push, having 2 books, and I mean Queen of Pain is still quite far from a Necro 3. Actually, it just needs another 1 recipe to finish up that book 3, so not far at all. And I think they're gonna opt towards pushing fairly soon.
Yeah.
Hao recovered quite well on the Luna. He went for the drums, as I mentioned earlier. He goes for this early fight item build every game on a carry, and I like it a lot, just because his kill participation in almost every game is very stellar.
Hide behind the tower, then deny it. How? He gets pinged out there, Ice, saying, hang on a second, they're all missing, they're coming for you. The Queen of Pain Necro, it's an old school Dota 1 build. Vigos used to play this all the time, and it was for like, sort of solo pickoffs. You jump in, get the Necros out, and you go for these kills. Here, it also acts like that as well, but doubly so, because if you think about Necro being popped by Ice and Super, you've got Axe blinking and calling, maybe killing himself on the Necro books, call down, flat cannon, rocket barrage. They've got all this spill and splash damage that could potentially kill off the Gyro and Axe before they get too much done.
Good point to mention. It's a lot of like random damage that comes into play where you just have to spawn the book, and if either an Axe kills it, if he doesn't have a BKB, which is most likely not going to happen fairly soon, as well as a Viper or Gyrocopter with splash damage, it's a good point. Book in that sense makes a lot of it makes a lot of sense, just getting that book where you can send it in. It's good to push with, as well as just giving an extra amount of damage to the team fight.
Oh, right now, Vici are actually grouping up. They've gone behind the tower. Soshka super blinks forward, and with a Fisher Finger of Death, Soshka is the one being jumped on instead of the one doing the initiation. Tier 2 will fall, a Chant Totem, and the right-click attacks here, the double aura, Inner Beast and Luna Blessing from the Beastmaster and Luna, making short work of the tower. Now they're pushing up onto Tier 3.
They still have the Aegis to work around, and how do you stop?
Fenrir finds come with me with the Eclipse. They're going to go further in with Minus taking a massive amount of damage. One more hit, down he goes, and Tier 3 surely going to fall. There's no buybacks on the 3 Burden heroes that are dead. Gyro and Viper too far forward. Necro Man, the blink, stun, death. As he does have a buyback available, but slowly but surely, VG, Necro 3 on the Queen of Pain. It looks like Sing Sing just getting his mana drained while they take the racks.
And they're just getting picked up one by one. They're not playing as a team. They're just getting picked up. They see the push coming. They're not pushing up. They're going into the fight, and they are in a disadvantage already, because an Ogre tries to defend, walks in, dies. They walk in, die. Keep walking in one by one, and just getting picked off. And that's not the way you want to approach these kind of fights. But if you want to have a shot at bringing it back to 1-1, you need to work as a team. And it looks like Burning Knight is not on par at all right now.
Over half of Hao's net worth is currently sitting in gold. Well, he just spent a hell of a lot of it. Is that a Scud? No, he's built Aghanim Scepter. Hao is building Aghanim Scepter on the Luna.
Oh, that's so good.
No one has ever done that in the history of Dota.
I've done it before, but that was the old Aghanim Scepter. With a change in Aghanim Scepter on Luna, I actually wanted to see it in action.
Yeah.
It has a 2500 range, where you can put it into an area, or you can place it onto a hero.
Yeah.
So a hero that jumps in, if you put it on a Beastmaster or a Queen of Pain, given that.
Well, Super is initiated up at top. He has blinked, but he'll not be able to get it off as Paris swings his axe into the Quap's head. But yeah, that's right. Throw it onto the Beastmaster, Earthshaker even. Imagine that, Eclipse, Echo Slam, Fisher. The amount of damage output would be nuts.
It could be Earthshaker, but it could also be a double play where you put it on the Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain gets another dagger, then he can jump in with a blink, and then he has another blink to follow up and walk around the entire area. Oh my god.
Or a Shadowblade. We've seen a lot of Chinese players go for the Shadowblade Queen of Pain. Not sure if he's going to go for it this game though.
No, I'm just kidding, obviously. But definitely, you can put it. You can put it on one hero, onto the jump, but you can also put it in an area. It doesn't really matter if it's on a hero, because the range is 2500. It's like assassination. The range is gigantic. I haven't seen it yet, and I feel like Axe is actually kind of underrated on that hero, just because the beams, the change that came before the recent patch was that beams not only we have no initiation top. That beams on the hero.
Now, Soshka missing the call. Cancels the Necro unit, but now the raw turnaround by Nuts, caught, Sonic Wave, the end of it will hit, and Thotchka left alone again. Good finger from FY, catching Season, cancelling out the TP, and he's locked in the trees as well. Looks like they're going to lose 3-0 in return. VG cleans them up, and where's How? How now with Fengdidi moving towards the lane. That is the ultimate there. Onto the Blink Lion. Necroman not long for this well as he's taken out by the Finger of Death. It looks like Burden United are down and out. The Yules have to come with me looking for one last kill, looking for a little bit of pride back from this game, but he's not going to get it. Fengdidi with the Glimmer Cape, maybe the Urn ticks over. Yep, just about. Come with me, finds that, but they've got 4 heroes dead with no buyback. Minot is the last one standing, and he's pretty much dead to rights. A super one little Shadow Strike. Enough to drop him low.
And at this point, it's just waiting for that GG call. I feel like there's no coming back for Bird United, and it still looks like they're not giving up.
Well, their respawn timers are still relatively low. They're alive in 15 seconds or so across the board. So maybe one last fight, one blink call into cooldown. Try and salvage something from this series at the very least. Sing Sing almost getting hit by the glaives. They're bouncing into these tier 4 towers. How? He's got his ultimate 87 seconds. So we're not going to see another big Eclipse play, I don't feel. Ice clearing up top lane. Well, the rest of his team is finished up mid. Soska with a big blink in. Here we go. The call down to land onto How and FY. A lot of skill damage as How will drop along with that Earthshaker. And they finally get a team fight that they've been waiting 26 minutes for. Yules up onto Ice, turns back with the Roar. But there should be enough stuns and damage here to finish off before he can TP back to base. They have lost, yeah, like I was saying, it's sort of one last hurrah. Let's get some kills, lads, let's do it. They do get a couple, but in the end it's too late. Mega creeps, GG is called, Burden taken out by VG here, 2-0 in his best of 3.